Cold calling really works still. A lot of people are afraid of doing it. That's why people don't do it. But if you have the courage to do it, and it does take courage, then you're able to do some pretty fantastic things. LinkedIn is the world's #1 professional social network. So if you're not building your network on LinkedIn, then you're really missing out. LinkedIn has 1 billion members on it right now.
Guys, what's going on? I got Joe Apfelbaum with me. We have a very interesting podcast for you here today. He's the CEO of Ajax Union, a very interesting product, Evie AI, that's going to be very useful and interesting to the podcasters who, or the podcast listeners who use LinkedIn. And so I'm excited to get into that with Joe. And just talk about his entrepreneurial come up in general, also a New Yorker as well. Joe, can you give a quick intro to the early stage entrepreneur audience here with your background, how you got into business in the first place?
If you're an early stage entrepreneur, realize that you may not know exactly where your business is going to go. I didn't really know where my business was going to go in the beginning. I was just doing websites for fun for people. You know the famous saying, if you build it, they will come?
Yep.
Chris, I built it. Nobody came.
Yeah.
I had to learn how to market it. And so I became really good at search engine optimization because my clients would complain that I built them a website and nobody came to their website. And so by doing SEO, I came into this concept called reoccurring revenue. I don't know if you're familiar with this idea. Most businesses,
Sure.
They do projects. They do one time. They sell a hot dog one time. But what if you can get a client that pays you month after month? You close them once and they pay you every single month. And that's how I was able to build one of the fastest growing companies in America by just closing deals that would last many years. And that's the idea. Instead of closing a deal that's going to last a day, a week, a month, or even a year, you want clients that are going to be with you for 10 years. And every time you close a new deal, you're just stacking one on top of the other, compounding the effect you have on your client base. And so I didn't know anything about business at all. I had no idea how businesses work. I was reading a lot of books and talking to a lot of people, and I just thought I was going to get lucky. And what I realized through business that it's more about strategy than it is about luck. The right strategy will save you a decade. So now I just launched my 3rd company this year. And this year we have this new company called Evie AI, EVYAI.com. It's an AI for LinkedIn. We have 10,000 users in 35 countries already. And we're growing really fast. And one of the things that we do for people is that we help them be able to start leveraging LinkedIn with artificial intelligence by drafting comments and posts. So now not only do I have the recurring revenue component in that business, but I have the scalability. With a marketing agency, I couldn't scale. I got to 1,100 clients and I was like, I can't scale anymore. I'm done. I can't get more. I mean, I can get more clients, but I can't handle it. And it's not affordable because minimum wage keeps going up and employees keep getting more expensive and turnover is very expensive. And so I had to figure out a better way. And the answer is software technology. And now with artificial intelligence, I can have the AI help me build it. And it's just really fantastic, all the things that we're able to build into the software.
Nice. Okay, Joe, so I want to get into, we have a lot of B2B agencies with us. Definitely want to get into LinkedIn and kind of how the new tool and how that's kind of being used. But even before that, what was your first company exactly? And what was kind of the moment that you decided to go in on it with all those considerations of, that it's not guaranteed and all that?
I would say just, I was just going for just helping people. That's really the idea. It's like I had no idea like what would work or what wouldn't work. I just knew that a client needed something and I was able to provide them with a service. That was really the idea. There are 2 types of businesses. There are the businesses that have a really high barrier of entry and it costs a lot of money to get started. And then there are businesses that have a very low barrier of entry and anybody can get started. And you can just start making money today. If you're in business today and you think you're going to build the perfect product and then sell it, you're wrong. What you're going to do instead is you first need to sell it, then build the perfect product. And that's kind of how I built every single business. Even this business, Evie AI, before I even built it, I first had 100 people pay for it. I just made a Google Doc. I didn't want to pay for a landing page. I made a Google Doc and I explained in the Google Doc what the AI is going to do. And then I just put up a LinkedIn poll and I said, does anybody want beta access to this tool? And then I had 200 people vote. And out of those 200 people that voted, 100, I ended up buying. And what happens is that you get this audience of people that you've been nurturing for many, many years. And I didn't just start nurturing people today. I didn't just put up a poll and get 100 people and
Of course.
For many years, I've been building relationships and doing networking events and webinars and adding value and doing LinkedIn Lives and doing all types of stuff. And then when you have something, that's when it pays off. So it's worth building your personal brand in advance.
Interesting. Yeah.
Because one day you're going to need to leverage it, and then you're not going to have that asset, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I mean, I think it's like one of the biggest mistakes that I know that I've made is like I've done so many companies where they never made any money, never got anywhere, and I spent like 6-12 months of money and just my time and other people's time building it, and there was no demand for it. And so like I'm almost thinking about it now, like it's better to like build out landing pages like literally up to the sale, get the sale, and then start building from there. That's kind of what I'm teaching people. So but it's sort of like that's hard to know. I think that's something that you learn from experience. So did you have like any experiences where you spent all this time developing something where there wasn't a market for it, like before even building out your network and everything that you're talking about?
I would say that before I built anything out, it was about cold calling. Like I would just literally pick up the phone and call people, and that worked, and that still works. Somebody cold called me today, and I built a relationship with them. Cold calling really works still. A lot of people are afraid of doing it. That's why people don't do it. But if you have the courage to do it, and it does take courage, then you're able to do some pretty fantastic things.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a guy on the podcast just a minute ago he's got like 200,000 people on Instagram, talks about exclusively about how cold calling you have to like take the dive on it. So I'd be interested to hear your take on that as well. So I guess the second point you made there is just like building out a network that eventually you can utilize on a company. Obviously, you've been in the business world a long time. What have you found? Is it best to like pick one niche and work within that? Like in terms of doing webinars and content. I think your niche, obviously B2B. Like how narrow do you go with that? Like where do you actually cultivate these connections and build your network and public profile over time?
Well, the place that I'm building my network is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the world's #1 professional social network. So if you're not building your network on LinkedIn, then you're really missing out. LinkedIn has 1 billion members on it right now. So, you leveraging your network on LinkedIn is going to be key. Did you know that every person that you add on LinkedIn also becomes a follower? Every connection that you add on LinkedIn becomes a follower of yours. Most people
see your content.
Most people don't even know that. You can build followers on LinkedIn just from doing that alone.
Yeah. It's one of the it's why I used to do a cold email agency and always tell people to connect on LinkedIn as well, because it's like even if you're not going to close them with the DM or the InMail or whatever, later on they could see some content for some
100%.
New business.
100%. And most people just literally have no idea how to do it. They have no idea what to do. They have no idea where to do it. And so I'm always telling people, it's like learn how to leverage LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is literally networking, relationship building,
networking online.
That's what it is. It's literally networking online. And if you learn how to leverage the platform, if you learn what to do, then you become unstoppable. It's like you have unlimited access 24/7 to a network of people that are there literally to promote you and to build a relationship with you. That's just next level if you learn how to properly do it.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's kind of like almost printing money once you get really good at it. Okay, cool. So walk me through some of the companies that you've done. Like what have been some of the biggest successes in your business pathway?
So for me, we've had 1,100 clients that we've helped at Ajax Union. And so everything from business to business to consumer, you name it, we've had some major successes. For me, it's really about getting to know the client and building a strategy first. Energy without strategy is a waste of time. I said that, and I say that all the time, because, a lot of people are just wasting their time trying to do something that's never going to work. And so if you're just trying to do something that's not going to work, it's just not going to work. You know, there's no way around it. There's no way to make it work if it's just not going to work if you don't have the right strategy. So my recommendation is making sure that you're picking the right strategy. So this company, for example, MakerBot. Have you ever heard of MakerBot?
Yep. Yep.
And none of them were really giving them an ROI from their digital marketing. And so we
Okay.
took a look at their strategy, and we noticed they were missing a marketing funnel. No, they didn't have a funnel. And so if you don't have a funnel is key. Guys, if you're watching this live, just write, a funnel is key. Write that down. A funnel is key. Why is a funnel key? Because if you don't have a funnel, then how are you supposed to be successful? How are you supposed to drive people from the top of the funnel to the bottom line? So we built them a funnel, and they got a massive return on investment as a result of the funnel that we built them. Because now people were entering the funnel and starting to
regularly.
Yeah, just starting to do. I wrote a book called High Energy Marketing. I also wrote a book called High Energy Networking. Very powerful to see the things that you're able to build and the things you're able to do. If you start doing it correctly, you're much more likely to be successful.
Got it. How do you approach sales? What's your philosophy towards
relationship building? Just, a lot of people just call, like this woman called me today, and she's just trying to sell me something. And I said, what are you doing? You literally called me to build a relationship with me, and you're trying to sell me something? Like, that makes no sense. That literally makes no sense. How are we supposed to build a relationship if you're trying to sell me something? You're trying to just pull something out of me. The entire conversation we had was just about you. That doesn't build a relationship. That doesn't build trust. Why don't you ask me a question about me? Why aren't you curious about me, about who I am, about what I'm up to? And the reason why she's not curious about me is because she has one agenda, which is just her. Like, what's in it for her? And I'm okay with that. You know why I was okay with that? Because I wanted to make her into a client of mine. And so I allowed her to do that. I allowed her to just be that. And I just was with her. I also explained to her the situation. I said, if you want to grow and you want to become better at networking and building relationships and sales, you got to really get to know me. So I started to ask her some questions about her and what she's up to and, who her friends are. Again, she asked me nothing about me. Nothing. Even after I told her, she asked me nothing about me. And that's okay. You're not interested in me. It's very, very clear that you have absolutely no interest in me. So if you have no interest in me, I don't really trust you. You know what I mean? Like, I have to get to know you. Like, for example, Chris, I know how many followers you have on LinkedIn. I took the time to look at your profile and get to know you and see what you're up to and see your company and see that you went to University of Pennsylvania and see where you worked before. You were the CEO of You Don't Need a CMO, and what you did as an advisor of Loyal VC and all the other stuff that you have. I even read the recommendations that you got back in 2020 from Nicholas Uribe or from Alec Chung or whatever. I just go back and look at what you're up to. Go look at the comments that you were leaving, the documents, the events. Just watching all the things that you're doing and looking at what you're up to, just taking the time to even read the about section on your profile and realize that, you know what? You really need some help. You really need some help with your profile. Your profile needs work.
Yep.
So my recommendation is to just connect with people and get to know them and build a relationship. That's really that's my approach to sales. Just like get to know someone, just like connect. When you have trust, then that's where the money is. People do business with other people that they know, they like, and they trust. Right. I'll say it again for you. You want me to say it again for you? People do business with other people that they know, they like, and they trust. If someone doesn't trust you, if someone doesn't know you, if someone doesn't like you, they're not going to do business with you. And so my question to the people listening to this right now, to you, is, are you building trust with your audience? Are you building trust with people that you're on the phone? Are you getting interested in them? Or are you just vomiting on them? When you want to sell something to somebody, you have to actually serve them. And in order to serve them, you have to get to know them. If you don't know somebody, you can't sell them anything because you don't know anything about them. In order to sell, you got to
Right.
first qualify. In order to qualify, you got to have trust in order for you to be able to answer the questions that I'm going to ask you. Coaching without permission is criticism. So don't coach people without asking them questions and then ask permission to coach. And then you can go in there and you can survey them and identify if there's a problem that you can solve. And chances are there is a problem that you can solve. A lot of salespeople, the reason why sales is so sleazy is because people sell without knowing if there's a problem or not. That's inauthentic. That's spammy. That's salesy.
Yeah.
That's icky. That's sleazy. Why are you trying to sell me something for a problem I don't have? That's stealing from me.
Right.
That's literally stealing. You want to be stealing? Selling is equivalent to stealing if you don't have permission to sell. If there's no problem that you're trying to solve. So you can create the problem first. If you want, you can create the problem. And then, you know, like for example, if you have a company that sells windshields, you can go around breaking windshields. That's what the mafia used to do. That's illegal. It's unethical, but at least you created the problem. Instead, you're selling somebody a windshield when they don't even need the windshield. What are you doing? Break the windshield first. You get what I'm saying? Identify if the person's unhappy with the windshield. And if they're happy with their windshield, leave it alone. In business, if you go to somebody and you're like, hey, buy my website, buy the website, buy the website. And the guy's like, I'm happy with my website. So why are you trying to sell him a website? Why do you even go in with that? Why don't you first ask him, hey, are you happy with your website? And the guy's like, hang on a second. I don't know. Should I be happy? I don't know. You're not getting any traffic, are you? I looked on your stats. I see you're not getting traffic. He's like, you know what? I really love traffic. I said, I can tell exactly why you're not getting traffic, but I'm not going to tell you right now because you didn't ask me. He's like, hang on a second. Tell me. I need to know. Now all of a sudden you're in service mode. You get it? Yep. That's the idea. My philosophy in selling is serving.
Got it. Yeah, I think a lot of people need to hear that, so to speak. Shifting gears a little bit, what about content, growing the audience, you know, through content? Like, what's your philosophy for writing? Obviously, you have a big audience on LinkedIn. What's the main mechanism by which you grow?
I always say that features tell and stories sell. If you want your content to work, you got to tell a story. But what does it mean to tell a story, and why is story even important? Because when you're telling something to somebody, you're actually judging them. Nobody wants to be judged. But if instead you're giving over a story to somebody, you're not judging or telling them anything. You're just basically sharing a story, and your story is something they're able to receive because it's not about them, but really it's about them. It's almost like a classy way to get in the door, if you know what I mean. If you want a classy way to get in the door, if you want to build a relationship with someone, share a story, share an experience. Don't just sell, sell, sell. Don't just give features over. Nobody cares about your features. Features tell, stories sell. So I'm a big believer in telling stories and building relationships and sharing experiences. And if you do that on social media and you do it in a very conversational way, then chances are you're going to get more exposure, you're going to build an audience, and you're going to build relationships and make money.
Got it. What about video content? Have you done a lot of that, or like, how do you feel about people like putting their face in front of the camera and actually not being afraid to speak as opposed to writing?
I used to be afraid of public speaking. I used to be afraid of putting myself out there. And what I quickly learned is that if you're afraid of putting yourself out there, you're not going to be able to truly make a difference for people in the way that you can if you really share yourself fully. Because there's a part of you that's ashamed. There's a part of you that's scared. There's a part of you that doesn't want to be exposed. If you're not exposing yourself, you're holding back. So there's a lack of intimacy. There's a lack of connection. And ultimately, there's a lack of trust. So I didn't trust myself. I didn't love myself. And so I wasn't able to share myself. But now that I got over that and I got complete with my shame and I got complete with my fear, now I'm able to really, truly share myself. And when you're able to share yourself in an unbridled way, now your light is shining. Now you're the sun, the unfiltered sun. Now you're the beautiful, blossoming flower. Show up like a flower. Connect with people. Build a relationship. And what's going to happen is you're really going to be able to make the full impact. That's what you want. You want full impact, full frontal impact. You want to really connect with people on social media, and you want to build that relationship with them. And if you can do that consistently, you're going to be able to be more authentic and ultimately have a better impact with people. So I say if you're afraid of social media, it's probably because you're not doing it often enough. You're not putting yourself out there often enough. You're not really committed to it. If you get committed, that means do 100 videos. I've done thousands of videos. I put myself on LinkedIn Live. Today I went on LinkedIn Live number 80 something, 85, 86, whatever, this year alone. My goal was to do 244 LinkedIn Lives this year. So I want to encourage you to put yourself out there. One year I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to do 100 videos this year. 100 videos. After you do 100 videos, you're better than if you only did one. Most people haven't even done a video.
Right.
They've never done a video before. Most people have never shared anything. There's only 1 million posts going up on LinkedIn every single day, but there's 1 billion people on LinkedIn. I want you to consider that.
Right. Yeah. So I guess you've talked about LinkedIn a little bit. Tell me about, like, what was the impetus for the AI kind of new company project? Like, why did you start it? What inspired you to get going with a software product in the space of LinkedIn tools?
What got me going with the space in the space of LinkedIn is I heard that Microsoft paid $26.2 billion for LinkedIn, and I got really excited back in 2016. And I started researching it, and I realized that LinkedIn is the world's largest professional social network, and they keep adding new features over and over and over that allow me not just to network and build relationships, but also for it to be a content marketing platform. I posted a post on LinkedIn, and 1,000 people saw it. I posted the same post on my blog, and nobody saw it. So all of a sudden, I have this like audience of people, and I'm like, oh my God, and every connection that I add becomes a follower. So I started to really double down, and I kind of became an expert at using LinkedIn myself to get clients from my marketing agency. And what I quickly realized after is that I can add very specific connections that are CEOs, decision makers, people that are qualified, that are doing millions of dollars in revenue, and I could be top of mind with them by just producing content, sending DMs, engaging strategically. And so people started coming over to me asking for me to train them on how to use LinkedIn. And I was like, I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer. You know, I had to overcome that mindset of like, I was afraid to like be labeled as a coach or a trainer because it was too low for me. I was like, you know, I'm a trainer. I'm a CEO. I'm an executive. How am I going to go train people? And so I had to get over myself and get over my ego. And I realized, you know what? I'm going to double down. I'm going to be a LinkedIn trainer. That's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to be a CEO. I'm also going to be an author, an entrepreneur, a professional speaker. I'm also going to travel the world speaking and whatever. But I'm a LinkedIn trainer. Good. I've trained over 1,000 companies on how to use LinkedIn over the past several years. And what I saw was that people just had no time to do this. People literally had no time to use LinkedIn. And so when AI came out back in 2022, you know, they came out with this ChatGPT concept. I started seeing right away that there's a massive opportunity for me to integrate ChatGPT with LinkedIn. And so I figured out a way to do it. I hired developers, and I figured out a way to do it after people paid for it. I realized, oh my gosh, this is a real opportunity here. And now we have 10,000 users in 35 countries around the world that are using this AI for LinkedIn that helps you comment, that helps you write posts, that helps you send direct messages. It helps you draft connection notes to people if you want to connect with them and you're not sure what to say. It'll draft a whole connection note. And we just added new features like templates, the ability to save templates and then train the AI based on a particular template. We added a feature called personas. We added a feature called saving profiles to lists. It's very, very powerful, the things that we've been able to add. It's really powerful. I'm really excited about that.
Got it.
Ari, can I call you back?
Who do you find?
I'm on a podcast. Let me call you back soon. Okay, text me on Google Chat. Bye. Sorry, that was my son. Whenever he calls me, I pick up the phone.
You all good?
Yeah.
Of course. You have to, right?
It's hard for me to pick up the phone when my son calls me because I don't live with my kids. I'm divorced. And I don't get to see them all the time. I do see them a few times a week for dinner and then every other week. But I want to make sure that my kids know that I'm there for them. So when they call me, I pick up the phone. Even if I'm on a podcast on LinkedIn Live or I'm in front of a seminar with 390 people, if my son calls me, I'm picking up the phone. I'm telling the 390 CEOs to wait.
Fair enough. I think that people will respect that. I think that's a
if someone has a problem with
it,
they can come up stage and argue with me to tell me to be not to be such a good father.
Exactly right. Cool. So, I mean, do you find that people? I mean, do you ever have issues like integrating with LinkedIn or like like they limit tool usage or something like that?
We're like Grammarly for LinkedIn. We don't automate LinkedIn. So yeah. So if you were a bot and you were using, there are other tools that do commenting and posting, and they take your cookie. There's one called Taplio. It takes your cookie, and that's against LinkedIn's terms and conditions. We comply with LinkedIn's terms and conditions, so we never do things like that. You know, we are just almost like a content writing tool. That's what we are. And a lot of the features that we have are not even on the Chrome extension. We do have a Chrome extension integrates with LinkedIn, but a lot of the features that we have are just on the web platform, like writing posts. You don't have to integrate with LinkedIn for that. Saving profiles, you don't have nothing to do with LinkedIn. Saving templates, saving personas. A lot of the features that we have, most of the features that we have are just on the platform. You just go to app.evieai.com, you log in, and you can use you could use all the features over there. If you want it integrated with LinkedIn, you could put in the Chrome extension. But if you're doing a lot of activity on LinkedIn, whether you're using a Chrome extension or not, you're going to get a 429 error, and eventually you're going to get banned from LinkedIn. It doesn't matter if you're using a robot or not. It matters if you're doing too much activity. So there's a guy that complained to me. He's like, Joe, I installed your AI. I used it like a maniac, and all of a sudden LinkedIn blocked me. And I was like, why'd you use it like a maniac? Who asked you to use it like a maniac? If you were going to just copy and paste comments 100 miles an hour, you would also get blocked on LinkedIn. It has nothing to do with the AI. Don't blame the AI. Don't blame the tool because you don't know how to use LinkedIn. Get some training. Take one of my courses. I got a Sales Navigator course. I got an Accelerator course. I have a community for AI automation. I have a lot of things available. You can come and take my program if you want. But don't complain to me and tell me that it doesn't work or that you got banned. You got banned because you don't know how to use LinkedIn, not because you're using a tool. That's the idea.
Yeah, we had a guy on our podcast, Stefan from Expandy, which is basically like a LinkedIn outreach tool.
That's against LinkedIn's terms and conditions. Expandy.
Yeah, well, I know. But so it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do people even make the decision to use something?
Well,
like that, right?
The way that they make the decision is that they get Sales Navigator, and LinkedIn turns a blind eye to people that use Sales Navigator if they're using tools like Expandy or Linked Helper. We have a bot that sends happy birthday messages and stuff. You know, we do have a bot that's unrelated to the software that we have through our marketing agency that we use for our clients. We set our clients up on these bots, and these bots go and send connection requests and do stuff, but we do it in a way that complies with LinkedIn's terms. We're not going to send more than 20 a day. You know, we know, and we're not going to send one. We're going to send one every few minutes. We're not going to send like 50 at a time like a lot of people do manually, and then they get banned and they wonder why. Or they get one of these programs like Expandy, and they don't necessarily have all the safe settings on, and then all of a sudden it just goes like a robot starts attacking it, and all of a sudden they get banned. You're going to get banned if you're going to attack it like a robot. You want the robot to act like more like a human than a human acts like a human. Because sometimes humans act like robots. And then they, you know, I had a salesperson I hired, and she sent out 800 Sales Navigator messages in one day. And LinkedIn blocked her.
It's even worse than automation, right?
It's worse because you can go much faster. I gave her a templating tool. She was boom, 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 and LinkedIn blocked her right away and took away her account. Then she's like, you see, LinkedIn doesn't even like when you do a lot of activity. Of course it doesn't. It thinks you're using a machine, and it's automated. It's not like a person standing there on LinkedIn. There's algorithms. If you do more than 150 page loads in one day, they're going to block you. That's just how it works.
Triggers it.
150 page loads. If you use LinkedIn 150 times in one day, you get into their like high usage category, and then all of a sudden, if you don't have a paid account, they block you, and if you have a paid account, it's much more. You know, you're much more likely to be okay. So I say, if you're going to use LinkedIn aggressively, pay for LinkedIn.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I think that's an issue people struggle with because like when they're getting excited about like building their network, you know, it's kind of like, hey, we want to message as many people as possible, but obviously you can
have a goal. Don't do as much as possible. Do strategic. Don't do as much as possible. Do strategic.
So with the current company, how have you been marketing it? Mostly through content and like the same kind of network, you know, LinkedIn ways that you build it, or are you using any other like direct paid advertising?
No, just my organic network. All my clients that I got all came from my organic network. We do webinars and seminars and events and all types of stuff, and that's how I built my organic network. And by the way, I have to hop off in like 5 minutes because my daughter's graduating from high school, so I have to go to the graduation.
Nice.
So I have to hop off in just a few minutes.
Yes.
So, but I'm happy to keep chatting now.
Cool. Okay. I guess, yeah. So my question, sort of tying everything together, was going to be, you know, with this last company or just in general, have there been any difficult, challenging moments, and how did you get through them?
Very challenging moments. I got through it by praying and by meditating and by grounding myself. You know, we got sued by a company that says we're not allowed to use the word LinkedIn in our Chrome extension page, and they took down our extension, and they gave us a bad reputation with all our clients, and, you know, even clients asked for a refund. It was a big deal, and now we won the lawsuit. You know, it turns out you're allowed to use the word LinkedIn on your Chrome extension page, but the
Yeah.
lawyer just wanted to sue us. So we spent all this money and all this time and all this effort, and we took 2 steps back and lost tons of revenue. But at the end, we won the lawsuit. You know, they reestablished our extension on LinkedIn. We had to create a new extension with a new page and start over with new testimonials and everything brand new with no downloads. So we basically had to restart the business in February. That was very, very difficult. You know, a lot of people would have just given up. They're like, listen, and then we got hacked. And then, like, so many things happened at the same time. Now, thankfully, they didn't access anybody's data. They were just basically just attacking our website, attacking DDoS attack, you know? So we had to figure out how to create protections against those things. And, like, you know, lots of different challenges that happen with all, you know, thankfully we have really happy clients, and you know, we got a 1-star review. Someone complained. You know why he complained? You know why he complained? He complained because we charge money for our extension. He's like, I've been using it for 2 months, and all of a sudden I ran out of credits. 1 star. How dare I run out of credits? You should give me this for free forever. I love this extension. It's the best extension I ever used in my life. And how dare you try to charge me money for this? And I was like, you're costing us so much money with all the credits you're using. It's just how it is. Just pay for your credits. Pay for the credits that you use to OpenAI. Like, why are you complaining? He's like, too bad. One star. 1 star. You charge me money, 1 star. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, what are you going to do? You know, I can cry about it, or I can talk about it on a podcast. Like a therapy session.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Joe, thanks so much for coming on, man. Where can people find you?
People could find me. So go to evyai.com. Sign up. Get the annual deal if you can. The annual deal, we're having a sale right now for the annual deal. evyai.com. Highly recommend it. It works really, really well. And, you know, I'm excited about people using it because it'll help you optimize your profile. It'll help you leave comments, write posts, send messages, connection notes, even recommendations, getting and giving recommendations. Really, really powerful. So highly recommended. And you can find me on LinkedIn, joelinkedin.com. That's JOE LinkedIn.com. Takes you to my profile. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on this program. Really excited to be here.
Great. Yeah, and we'll drop all those links in the description. Thanks, guys. This is the One Network.
Storm.